we've been on the road for a bit over 2 hours. We're out in Tumbarumba at the moment. So
yeah, we're actually in New South Wales, so we're northeast of Albury, just outside of a town called Tumbarumba, and we are heading to the Hyne sawmill.
This will come about because we've just done that CLT project up at Moffat Beach. So Robert Mansell from Hyne Xlam has invited us down here. Super excited to have this opportunity to have a look around.
It takes 17 hours to get from a truck from Adelaide Hills to here, and then it takes us 17 minutes to process what's on that truck. As soon as it rains, they can't get the trucks in there.
So obviously that's had a big impact on the cost, because your transport costs are gone from within an hour
Absolutely.
to, like, that's
100%.
enormous. So we just finished a tour of the Hyne Tumbarumba sawmill. It was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing just to see the volume that they're working with and the level of automation. When you think of a sawmill, it sort of, I don't know, there's these kind of, stupidly probably, these old-fashioned ideas of how that might be happening, but when you see the amount of computerisation and automation in that process, it was incredible to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely blew my mind. It's having the opportunity to be invited to these places and have a look around is definitely appreciated. We literally saw the entire process from it being unloaded off the truck, put into the machine, and the entire process all the way through to packaging and reloading it on a truck to go out again. But they were just saying that plant at its highest capacity can do 900,000 cubic metres. They're currently running at about 680,000 cubic metres per year. Like, yeah. It's just unbelievable. And then, like, I asked at the end of the tour, like, roughly how that equates to linear meters, and Matt, the guy that gave us the tour, was incredibly knowledgeable. He was a really good dude, and he said he wasn't sure on the total yearly numbers, but he's heard that per day they make enough timber linear metre wise to go from the factory down to Melbourne, which is about 480 k's.
Something like that, yeah.
So huge amount of timber. We literally got up to stand up in a viewing platform looking down over the yard where all the logs were, and he asked us all how long do we think it would take to process all that timber, and we all ranged, I think, from 2 days to 2 weeks, and he said about 18 hours, and that, what was that, 1,800 logs?
I can't remember how many it was, but it was a massive amount. And it was just
huge.
Yeah, to see the rate at which things were moving through, and also to see where people are involved in the process versus where they're getting robotics involved to help manage, actually keeping people healthy, because some of those harder tasks that were creating injuries and things like that, now introducing robotics into, and also the computerisation in terms of how they examine the log, what can be taken from the log, telling the bandsaws where to cut, and doing that on a log by log basis so that they can maximise the use of the log, and then also testing the density as it went through the process, UV stamping and things like that. It was just incredible.
Yeah, it was insane. I couldn't believe, like, one of my first questions, it was only on our second viewing platform we got to, was like we're staring at a computer screen showing a cut through a section through a log, and it literally had each piece that they were going to be able to cut out of that log, what strength it was going to be, and it actually put a dollar value on it. The computer was telling the saws the best cut out of the log and what it was going to be worth to the company.
Yeah, Matt made the point that volume and value aren't the same, and so it was showing what options might be available to actually cut out of that log, and then the computer was determining based on whether it was a bigger section and a longer length, or it was going to be 2 smaller sections, what value that would be.
Grade.
And then also examining where the knots were, and it was really interesting just to see how that then fed into the capacity of what that sawmill's doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, but that was happening within 7 minutes of the log getting tipped out of the front end loader onto the conveyor belt. Like, just absolutely unbelievable. And I think it was actually really good just to see an insight into how Hyne work. Like they seem like an incredibly good company. Like they put those robots in because those jobs were a bit mind-numbing and back-breaking, and yet they, rather than get rid of those people, they retrain those people to work in other parts of the business, which I thought was really, really good. But to see the money and the time and the effort they're investing in everybody, their staff, the environment, the machinery, like it was really, really interesting. It was also really interesting to learn how much they send off. So like it's basically solid timber products, sawdust, bark,
Chip.
and chip.
Yeah.
The chip goes off to get made to paper. They reuse a bit of the sawdust on site to make steam.
Yeah, to drive the kilns.
Yeah, so
there was, I think it was 200 to 300
tons a day.
Tons a day of sawdust gets burned, so to create the steam. So it was interesting to see that process. It made me realise when you look at how much is going in to create the timber that we're building with and that we use, actually what a valuable resource it is for us, and the care with which, you know, we hope that people actually use it, consider using it. When you see what is going in to take it from being that tree that's felled in a forest to then being the stick that gets used in the frame in a house, you hope then that people start to realise there's a lot of investment and time and value in this, you know, not just the growth of that tree, but just the process to actually get it to that site and take care with it, you know. So it was just incredible.